Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft Builder's Guide. So in this episode we're going to go over creating custom oak trees in Minecraft and basically going through a whole kind of like little bit of a mini forest area for you guys so that you can see what we want to do. Now if you're new to the channel, we do a lot of time-lapses and tutorials, so feel free to subscribe if you're into that kind of stuff. And I'm also doing this kind of series as a regular part of my channel, so if there's any ideas that you guys need some inspiration on, do let me know and I will make sure I put a video up. Anyway, so what we're doing is we're actually removing some of the default oak forest here. Now, I do recommend just doing this in small chunks. Don't just go and deforest an entire area. But we do have the small village here and we've got this little path, so this is a really good area to actually start with. So I'm just removing all of those trees and letting all the leaves completely disappear. So we've got a nice area, but I want to keep in the rest of the trees around it. Now there's a reason for that, and that's because doing custom trees does take quite a long time. So you know, don't expect to just be able to kick them out in a couple hours. It will take quite a while, so keep them in there so that when you're kind of replacing it, tree by tree or whatever, then at least you've got the rest in there so you know it's still a forest. Now with all the custom trees, what you should do is always have a look at some good reference pictures. There's a ton online, absolutely tons online, so go and find yourself some oak trees. This is what I did. I got an oak tree up and I shoved it on my second screen and I just started building. So with this one I had a lot of oak, obviously the oak actual logs, and a lot of the kind of branches are actually obviously going outwards. So I did this at quite a few different angles in order to make it really, really interesting, and it also looks like this is actually what happens on real trees. After that I use some fence, so this is just oak fence because we're using oak blocks, and just having this coming off as smaller branches. It's a shame we don't have the kind of walls like we do with the rest of the, with all the stone kind of materials. It'd be great if we had the wooden ones. Because using those makes it really easy where you can go from a full block to a wall and then to fence. But instead what we can do is we can just use kind of like halfway in between each of these. Now after you've got most of the branches done, what I want to do is just go around the actual area as well and make some roots. Now because we don't have any sort of slabs for these kind of blocks, you can use, especially with the oak wood or oak wood logs, you can actually use spruce wood spruce wood planks. The slab version of those is really good and actually matches the colour quite closely, so you can actually use that to kind of smooth out the rest of the tree, and just especially with those roots, put those in. So the next thing after you've got all of your branches using those fence blocks is to actually use some leaves, obviously using oak wood leaves because we're doing an oak tree, and you just put these sparsely around the actual tree itself. You don't need to have loads and loads and loads of blocks going everywhere. Minecraft, the default ones of course have got lots of leaves everywhere and they've got it really, really dense, but what you actually want to do is actually have it quite sparse. So you want to be able to see some of those blocks kind of pushing through, and it makes it look a lot better. But yeah, you start off with you doing it around these fence blocks first, and after that what you start to do is you actually start to join together those branches, so you start to fill in the gaps. It doesn't matter if there's actually too much going on, and what my general rule is that you should have a leaf next to another leaf, so it can be diagonal off of that, and that means it can be diagonal and forwards, but it should be, or should look like it's connected if you look at it at a certain angle, and that just kind of helps to kind of make sure that you have enough space in between it so you can get a lot of light going through, but also that it does look like it's actually connected and you don't have these floated blocks, which is always a bit of a nightmare if you have floating blocks. I've never liked them, never liked floating blocks in them, but yeah, you pretty much just keep on joining those together. Now with the top of it, you'll always have it where it doesn't look quite right at the top, so make sure to smooth out the top and kind of think about a curve going over the top of it, and that will really help with getting that shape right, and just fill it in. What you also want to do with some of these branches is make sure that some of the leaves are lower on one side than another, or lower on a branch, and that just creates some very, very good looking variation. It makes it look a lot more natural as well, which of course is super useful, or not really useful, but super important, is to make sure that you actually have that happening. So yeah, it's not too bad, but just finishing up the last bits of this tree at least. So let's have a quick look. So there you go, you can see how I've got the kind of like sparse leaves going on with that one. I'm pretty happy with how this one's turned out. The shape's quite nice. I've also used some spruce stairs as well. Now, what you're probably thinking is, okay, do I need to do a load of these? Well, no, you don't. You can actually put in, and what a lot of people forget is that saplings. So these are younger trees, younger oak trees. So I've got one there just with a couple bits of fence and a couple leaves, and also one where I've got some actual oak wood logs, then lots of fence on top, and all the branches are actually using the fence. So obviously, with your forest, you're going to have trees that are growing. They're not all going to be completely massive, really good looking trees. They are going to have, you know, some younger ones growing that maybe you've had some trees that have been cut down previously. There's a lot of other details that you can do around the kind of like forest floor as well. Podzol is a really good block to put around because of course it looks like fallen leaves. So try not to use this really anywhere else, maybe in flower beds and things like that, but mostly try to use it around the tree to make it look like that, and mix it in with some coarse dirt and also some, you know, brown concrete powder. If you use that for your path, it really works and it gives you that kind of drier dirt look. And also put around a couple stones. You can put some bushes in, so again, typical kind of rule with this is to use a leaf block that you haven't got in your forest. So what I've done is I've actually used dark oak wood leaves and also jungle wood leaves. Now jungle wood leaves I always think look like they have some sort of fruit or berries or something on them, so they're always perfect for it. And then also put in some custom flowers and use your ferns. Really make it look like it's a natural area. And obviously the easiest way to do that is by putting in a lot of your kind of like grass layers around, which always looks really cool, or at least I think really looks cool. It just adds a bit more detail to it, so you can see me putting in the last sapling as well, because I thought this side looked a little bit sparse. Now since it's near the house, it would be probably cut down. Now for the village, what I'm actually going to do is actually build a nice natural wall going down using cobblestone. So this is something that I could just imagine happening. You know, you've got a bit of forest land and they just want to make a nice little natural border for this area for whatever reason, but maybe they don't maintain it. So you start off with a load of cobblestone and then look at reducing a couple of those, switching out a couple of blocks to, for example, andesite stone and also the moss stone, especially with moss stone, since it is, if you want to have a overgrown feel, moss stone is perfect for it. And then also looking at switching out a couple of these for slabs as well, making it look like bits have fallen off. So maybe you have like, I've got a stair there and I've got a slab behind it, as if, you know, over time it was a loose cobblestone wall. Somebody's whacked into it for whatever reason, and yeah, some of them have knocked out, and it just gives it a really nice natural look to the actual build itself, and also just frames your path, so it makes your path really quite nice and clear. Now don't build it up to the path, leave a couple grass blocks, and this is really useful for putting in other details around here, like your long grass, so your double grass, maybe even a couple flowers as well. So I've actually switched in some, I think they're oxeye daisies, I think I've put some azure bluettes in, I've also put in lily of the valley, which is one of my favourite flowers that has now been added to the game. Alright, so here we are in actual game, because I think it just needed to, I need to show you guys up a little bit closer to give you some more tips and tricks in order to do these kind of things. So this is what the actual full village actually looks like, or not really the full village, but the you know, path and the actual trees looks like, and you can kind of get an idea of the actual scale now. So this is how I've done the tree. Yeah, like I was saying in the earlier bit of the video, got lots of different branches. We've got the main kind of branches made out of the oak wood, and then using the fence on the inside, and then using the leaves on top of that. But yeah, do join it up and like have these kind of patterns where you are going off diagonal. So you might, for example, do something like that, or you could also do there like that, or perhaps even go off on the diagonal just there to add in a little bit more kind of bushes and things like that. So I might go for that side, for example, and that will give you a really nice kind of airy looking like tree, which is always really good. Do add in lots of little bits of details as well. It does make it feel very foresty. Make use of all the new blocks that we've got, for example, you know, the stone slab, stone stairs, and andesite stairs, as well as the mossy stone as well. That one looks absolutely great for like foresty type stuff, and you can see the bits of slabs that I put in there and bushes around it. But yeah, do, you know, you make use of this and expand it as you go. It could be that you just do, say for example, every time you start the game you might want to do like one tree or one little area, and slowly you'll be able to actually expand it around this entire area until you're finished. I'm going to be doing that as I actually expand this series and expand this kind of world where we've got this nice little village, the whole road going all the way down there, and we actually join it up with other little towns and things like that. But yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video, and I'm going to start doing these kind of end bits because I think it kind of works a little bit better for explaining everything up close and you get to see everything. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you on another episode of Minecraft Builder's Guide.